Relationship advice. Update. Caught my wife cheating. What about her kids? Original post. I, 52 mil, lost first wife 10 years ago. At the time, 2 daughters now 21 and 24. Life went on after about 3 years, then I met current wife, 38. Met innocently enough. Basically, kept bumping into her in various places around town. Never really talked, sometimes made eye contact and we would point at each other at a distance and just smile. Then one day getting my car worked on, she walked into the waiting room, while hers was worked on also. So, we finally had a long conversation. We went across the street to get real coffee, as service centers was bad. We talked about an hour, then I was paged that mine was done. I asked if she would like to do lunch one day to continue talking, so we exchanged numbers and set a day to meet up. We dated 2 years before we got married. She has 2 boys, now 10 and 14. They moved into my house as they had been living with her parents for 3 years. My girls loved her. Not as a stepmom, but as a big sister. Although having another adult in the house with 2 teenage girls was a blessing. Life is grand. I love those boys as if we're my own and I want to adopt them when they can make a decision on their own. The little one even calls me dad. For the oldest, it was awkward, so I told him to call me what he felt comfortable with, my first name. The girls called her by her name too. Wife became a stay-at-home mom. We decided until kids were adjusted, but now she doesn't want to work and does volunteer at school lunch and other things. Daughter 1 goes off to college and is now graduated. The younger daughter graduated this past morning too and we are moving the rest of her things this weekend. I was told her ex abandoned them about the time baby number 2 came along, and has been no contact since. Her mom is very nice, but holds me at arm's length. Her dad is an alpha dog and I don't think he wanted anyone else taking care of his daughter, only child, and grandkids. He would berate me because I was too old, not much younger than them. This would be any time I was around them. I am non-confrontational, so I told wife I would just stay away from them. I did encourage her to continue their relationship, as they only live a couple blocks away. February this year, her ex reappears and wants to be in their lives. He is sketchy at best, but I cannot refuse this, and he starts coming around often. I set a boundary that he comes on weekends, so as not to interfere with school and we can control his visitation somewhat. He comes most weekends, but really spends little time alone with the kids, as we try to give him space. I asked my wife if he made any child support payments while he was gone. No. I suggested to her to talk to him about getting caught up of whatever he owes, and to ask about signing over rights so I could adopt them. She said she would talk to him. First part of March, our intimate life starts to dive. You know where this going, right? But I am oblivious. I mentioned to wife this and she has the usual excuses. I notice little things around the house are different too. My favorite snacks are gone, missing a few beers, not a big drinker, just one every now and then. But the big one was, I could smell what I thought was grass. I asked wife if she was smoking, as we don't, she hasn't. I thought the now 14-year-old was and I suggested we talk with him. She says she would handle it. About 2 weeks ago, 14-year-old asks me if I love mom. I said yes, thinking he has a girlfriend. Time for a talk, right? He says that we always sat together and were touching each other some way or the other. This made him feel good. He asks if mom loved his dad. I responded that sure on some level she does. Why ask? He replies that they are always looking at each other, talking and touching. And he is over all the time. I asked what he meant by all the time, almost every day. When they get home from school, he is there, then leaves. That weekend I'm in the living room and he is over for visitation. He comes in and sits down across from me with a beer. I look up from my reading, and tell him to help himself to a beer. He says nothing. I ask why isn't he with the kids as I could hear laughing coming from the family room. He said he might go in a little bit. I tell him I will not drink in front of the kids, I wait until after they are in bed. He says nothing. He then states, you know I am only here for her. What does that mean? You're talking about my wife? He says, technically not divorced, he never signed papers, so she is his wife. I know a judge signed off on divorce because he could not be found, that's why it took longer to divorce. I finally ask about the child support, since I never heard back. He just looked at me and said that he was caught up, paid her $15,000 in cash. WTF. I asked then if she talked to him about giving up rights, never asked. He asked what would it be worth to me. I said you got to be kidding, you would sell your kids? Before he could answer I told him to leave. The next day, this past Sunday, the kids were at Grandma and Grandpa with wife. I bought and installed a camera. I put it on top of the TV. I was very small and has a view of the front door and living room, also motion activated. Nothing unusual, until Wednesday about 10 a.m. I get an alert on the phone when the camera activates. So, I am at work and I get a notice, figure it's the wife cleaning up, but I look anyways. He comes back. She lets him in and they kiss long. He starts grabbing at her, she playfully pushes away, they are laughing, no sound. He sits on the couch, then she brings him a beer and snacks. 10 a.m. She disappears. She is back a few minutes later, clothes changed as she is going to school for lunch. They are talking. More grabbing, more pushing away, laughing. A few minutes later, she is up getting ready to leave. He gets up then grabs her again. Making some gestures, then poses like he is praying with hands together. They sit down again, then she gives him head. She finishes up, goes out of range. Comes back, says something, then leave. He then watches TV, then he takes a nap. Screen eventually goes blank. A little after 1 p.m., another alert and she is home. They talk, then they both leave the room. I know they are headed to bedroom, so I race home and find them. They never heard me coming. There is the hysterics that you would expect. He slithers out and I tell her she has to go. She pleads that it was a one-time mistake, that he had just got there. She was lonely because we weren't having intimacy, etc. I called BS. I then asked how often he came over. She says just the weekends. This was an anomaly. I showed the video of him napping. She said he was tired and asked too. Then I showed her the BJ. She had nothing to say to this, so I told her to pack her bags and she is out. I left and called her dad to take them in, and said we were having issues. He of course takes the alpha position, and tells me how I would screw this up, yada yada. I couldn't even get a word in. Finally, I stopped him, asked again, he said yes, then started on me again. I had enough of it, so I said I would send him something. I sent the video edited down to the BJ. I told him to view it, and call me back if I was wrong. Never heard back from him. I talked to a lawyer Thursday. He helped with the estate plan after my first wife and he referred me to a partner who does family law, and we'll meet Tuesday as the divorce will happen. He felt, but did not know for sure, that I would be on the hook for support for the kids. There would be no alimony since she broke our prenup. I made it up before marriage in addition to the estate plan to protect my girls. I don't care about the support though, I'd be glad to do it. It's the boys. So, my question or advice needed, has anyone else been through divorce and was able to see their ex's kids, even if they are not yours? How did that go? The 14-year-old is partially vulnerable as he will be in high school next year, formative years. I don't want to see him go down the tube and turn out like his dad. Thanks to all in advance. Now for the top advice before reading the update. I sent the video edited down to the BJ. I told him to view it and call me back if I was wrong. Never heard back. Savage. I would pay an absurd amount of money to see this dad's reaction. I'm so sorry, this sounds awful. I have a feeling that your wife was hiding him for longer than you think. But what kind of trashy family is giving you crap when their daughter is the one that messed up? Unfortunately, you got caught in a situation that had relatively high risk from start. May I advise you not to give any money if they are not your kids. She won't utilize it for the boys. She'll most likely to spend it with that joke of a man. So, what's the situation now? Is she still begging you? I have no contact. Too busy with daughter's graduation this weekend anyways. Won't talk until I get the legal advice Tuesday. Thanks for advice. Given the age of the kids, it's likely that they can participate somehow in the divorce and custody conversation, and give their own preferences. Some mediations give the kids their own time alone with the decision maker to say their piece. Sounds like the kids are bonded to you, so don't lose hope that you'll still be a big part of their lives. Thank you for the support. Update. Sorry, this update might be jumbled as I originally updated in the wrong sub. This is the umpteenth time I have written this out, each time it's shorter. I'm not sure how to cross post, so I am retyping, so bear with me. Last week was a busy week with daughter's graduation, moving her home, kids' sports starting, lawyer, and the first face-to-face with my wife. Got home Sunday and put daughter's stuff from the apartment in the garage. I get a call early evening from the 14-year-old. Dad, what's going on? No one is talking to us. Mom and Grandma are crying, Grandpa's yelling. Is this because of what I told you? I assured him that his mom made a bad mistake, and that he had nothing to do with this mess. He asked if I was packing up their stuff because he saw the U-Haul in the driveway. I explained what happened, and that all their stuff will remain there. Monday and Wednesday were sports nights. Family sits in the bleachers while I stand behind the home plate backstop. My usual spot since I don't see eye to eye with father-in-law. On the way across the field, the oldest stops his warm-up and rubs over to me. We hug and talk a few minutes, then I send him back. As I get to my spot, I have the 10-year-old crash into me at full speed. I bend down, hug and kiss him all over as he is squirming away. My father-in-law then asks if we could talk, and we step away from earshot. He apologizes for the way he has treated me in the past, and that he was wrong. Well, a little late, but I accepted, and said I knew that it was a hard thing for him to do. He invited me to sit with them, but I declined. He asked if I wanted to talk to wife. I said Thursday would be better, and we set the time and place. Tuesday comes and we meet with the lawyers. I told him the whole story. He knew from his partner but wanted to hear from me. He asked what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay with the boys, then stay married. The boys were the most important. He stated that in his experience, that the marriage would be a charade and not good for the boys. We could work out a visitation if wife is willing. As far as support is concerned, he said I could do what I wanted for the boys. Not to give her anything for me to control. The prenup was solid and she violated the conditions, so no support. He cautioned though that judges around the country have in some instances, ordered child support in my case due to being in their lives for so long. He did not think our judges have ruled that way in the past, but you never know. He was sure her attorney would seek support, so he suggested that we try to agree on everything we could before the court hearing, then the judge would look favorably on us. Before leaving, he told me that every Monday morning, the partners meet to discuss new and ongoing cases. My previous attorney started out describing everything. Each partner has a specialty: estate planning/elder law, criminal, liability, family. Later in the afternoon, the criminal lawyer meets up with my attorney. After the meeting, he called a contact in the prosecutor's office. The $15,000 did not seem right. How do folks in the middle class have $15,000 in cash laying around? Turns out, X did not abandon them. He was in jail. He was released 3 years ago when feds were releasing non-violent criminals to ease overcrowding, etc. He was sure the police would be interested if he was back and practicing his profession again. But he did not have any other info but the jail time. Thursday, I meet with the wife and father-in-law. I asked if they minded if I recorded, so there would be no misinterpretation later. They agreed. Before we started, wife wanted to talk privately, so father-in-law moved to another room. Wife started to apologize, but I cut her off. I said, before you say anything, know that I know a lot more than you think. I asked how long the affair was going. She said the one time. I told her the video shows that is not true. I played a clip of her dusting the TV. She never saw the camera. I know it was only a few days, but she was going to lie, so I was too. She thought it was part of the video game. It's not big, but it is obvious on top of TV. She then admitted that since March almost right away. I told her no more lies. I told her of the family secret, that he was in jail and did not run away. She admitted to this also. I asked how long they were in contact, said since February. I asked if she met up any time before him appearing. She said no. I then told her he had been out for 3 years. The look on her face told me she did not know. We get father-in-law back in. Turn on the recorder, and I asked if she had a lawyer? No. I told her to get one because a divorce will happen. They both asked if something along reconciliation could take place. I said no. I said I wanted the boys and she could live with the ex. I told her when we speaking privately, that ex tried to sell me the boys. I repeated it for father-in-law. We settled on the boys seeing me anytime within reason. She would not keep me from them. I said I would provide at my choosing. She would get no support. I did not want her getting the boys to ask me for things, and they would be honest if I asked. There you have it. One last thing, Redditors, the wife and I are avid readers of this site. We have our favorite subs. We would read and share, it was a thing we did together. She has read my post as she figured it out and she read every reply you made. She stated you savaged her. You said many things I only wish I could have because I did feel it. For that I thank you. Now for some top comments. She stated you savaged her. Nah, she savaged herself. She threw away a good man so she could have some BS fling with a guy who tried to sell his kids. It doesn't get much more trashy and messed up than that. I know you'll do right by the kids. It's just such a shame that she failed so spectacularly as a wife and mother. You're going to do just fine, you're a catch, and you're going to get back on your feet in no time. PS for the ex. You failed your family in a way that cannot be described. You without a doubt hurt the most positive thing in your children's lives, for someone who was willing to sell them. You needlessly hurt someone who has shown you nothing but love, and loved your children better than their bio dad ever would or could. You should be ashamed of yourself. You failed your children. Ever heard the tale of the scorpion and the frog? Some people, especially those that cheat, just can't help it, even if they intend not to. It's their nature. The key is to just get them the hell out of your life once you discover their nature. Good for you. I'm glad you're divorcing that piece of crap soon-to-be ex-wife of yours. She can have that misfit ex of hers all she wants. They'll be living in a trailer park real soon. Hope it was worth it. The next story is titled, Update: Would it be wrong to ask if my wife is cheating? Original post. My 31 male wife, 31 female, and I have been married for 1.5 years. She is very close with her sister, and sometimes stays over for movie nights, girl talk, etc. I have no problem with it. Lately, her sister has been having problems at work, and drama with her other siblings. Due to this stress, she has been asking my wife to spend the night more often. This has been annoying my wife, since she says she is unable to have any time to herself. This week, my wife has stayed over 3 times, including tonight, which is a little odd. On the way home from hanging with a friend, I became paranoid, and made the decision to drive by and check if she was really there. It was dark out, but it looked like her car was not there. Shortly after, I texted her that I made it home, and she said that she is getting ready to leave her sister's place. We have been having issues with intimacy for a while, and she has made a promise to work on it. These issues are starting to make me feel that she may be looking outside of our marriage to have her needs met. I want to confront her about her not being at her sister's, but I am worried that I may be wrong. Also, we are planning on attending a fireworks show with friends on Memorial Day, and don't want to make things awkward. Would I be wrong to confront her? Now for the top advice before the first update. I don't think it'd be wrong to confront her, but before you do, make sure she isn't actually at her sister's when she says she is. A really dark night where the car may have been there, isn't really good evidence. They also could have used her car to go buy snacks or something like that, since it is specifically a girls' night and that's honestly a pretty normal thing to do. I can see how you'd want to confront her, but I can also see how she will easily turn this into a "you don't trust me, I can't believe you'd follow me, I was there the entire time and I don't know how you didn't see my car, but you must be so paranoid you're making conclusions in your mind about it, I've never done anything to have you consider I'm cheating, blah blah blah" type of situation. I agree with an above post. Wait until the next time she goes to her sister's, and this time if you find out she's not there, take a picture and use a Snapchat filter with the time on it. When you confront her, compare the photo to the time when she claimed she was leaving to prove she wasn't there in the first place. There's no way she can back out or make excuses, or find a way to turn it against you in order to make you seem like the bad guy if you have proof like this. I'm sorry you're going through this. Best of luck. Definitely wait until the next sister night, and get some concrete evidence. Can you video call her while she's supposedly there? She may not pick it up, and make up a story later maybe. If OP repeated it, she may blame him for suspecting her. Now for the first update. The morning when she got home, her phone received a notification when she was sleeping. The messages were from an old college crush. Apparently, she has been meeting him for intercourse instead of visiting her sister. This has been going on for over a year. She has met at his place, and our place. They were also emotionally involved. She asked him for more intimacy than she did with me our entire marriage. She managed to meet with him whenever I was away at work, or with my friends. I confronted her, and she tried to lie about everything. I backed her in a corner with evidence, and she eventually came clean. She cried, and tried apologizing several times, but I left the house. I had small suspicions over the years, but thought I was just being paranoid. We haven't had intercourse since we've been married, and have been through counseling. Everything was great in our relationship otherwise. There was nothing wrong with her libido, she just enjoyed sex with other guy, and coming home to pay bills. I am so depressed and angry. I did everything I could to be a great husband. I didn't deserve any of this. This will most likely cause trust issues in my future relationships. Edit: we have no kids nor own property together. Now for more advice before the last update. This might seem like a small consolation, But there's a good chance her relationship with this dude is going to fall apart now that their secret is out. If he actually wanted a real relationship with her, she would have left you by now. So, she's going to lose both of you, because she freaking sucks. I hope she's miserable. Sorry this is happening to you, but you're going to be better off in the long run for having found out now. Before having kids with this horrible person. This is so true. I've seen it with several of my friends. It's all good when the person is taken, and no chance to be stuck in an actual relationship. But as soon as they are single, the guy bounces. Guys like this want friends with benefits, not a girlfriend. If you haven't had intimacy since you got married, you might actually be able to swing an annulment. She obviously didn't marry you for any romantic reasons, which means she married you for false purposes. I've heard of marriages being annulled long after the fact for similar reasons. Unconsummated marriage is grounds for annulment. Good catch. This will most likely cause trust issues in my future relationships. You can work on this and be able to overcome it one day. Keep your head up. Everything was great in our relationship otherwise. No intimacy since you got married 1.5 years ago and been through counseling, doesn't tell me everything is great. Yeah, this was never even okay, never mind great. Final update. Here's an update to my previous post last week. I realized that I made a typo in my last post. We have been married for 1.5 years, not 2.5. As much as I wanted things to work with us, I have decided to dissolve the marriage with an annulment. We have spoken, and she is still unclear as to why she decided to have an affair, or why we remained sexless. She regrets that it happened, and is remorseful. I made some hurtful comments and insults when I found out about the affair, which was totally out of my character. I felt betrayed, because I thought I was doing everything right in the marriage. This included counseling, prayer, and deep discussions. I feel bad because I really wanted things to work out. I truly felt that we had something special. I thought we would overcome the intimacy issues and would be okay. It hurts to let go, but I know it is for the best. My trust and self-confidence are non-existent. I've been told that my life will get much better from here on out, that I will one day meet someone who I will be much happier with. Hopefully things will get better for me, but right now, I just don't see it. Now for the closing comments. Remember what Picard said, "It is possible to commit no errors and still lose. That is not weakness nor failure, that is life." You can't control others' actions, and you without a doubt are not the sole cause of their decision-making. All you can do sometimes is choose when to move on and find your happiness. Feeling bad after being caught is easy, just ask all the prisoners begging for leniency in their sentencing hearing. Caring enough about your spouse not to risk losing them or hurting them by committing an act you know would easily accomplish both is harder, but also what counts. It was a decision to be disloyal for 2 years. A decision knowing what was at stake. She didn't love you enough not to cheat for over 2 years, to do something she knew would hurt the man she loves. It's a shame she didn't foresee it before she cheated on you. Doing something you know will hurt your partner, and then hiding the truth and claiming you hid it not to hurt them is beyond selfish. If she cared about losing your marriage, a simple way to prevent it would have been not to cheat for 2 years. Also, it's super easy not to cheat. Like cheating takes time and effort for most people, it's way easier to not cheat on your partner. It's not some huge challenge to avoid it or anything. Thanks for the answers. Sometimes I find myself torn between staying or leaving. I think about all the positive memories we have, and the possibility of getting through this. I fear the thought of losing her forever. On the other hand, I think about the lies and my needs not being met for so long. Meanwhile, another guy was enjoying intimacy with her. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.